Everybody, and welcome to our third night of satsang. Tonight, as we join together, let us begin with opening mantras firstly, and then we'll continue with our discourse tonight. Please draw your hands wherever you are. If you are looking on the repeat, if you are looking on at us after the fact, whether on YouTube, whether on Facebook itself, on the repeat, may you please continue to pray with us as we join. Let's pray together, everybody. Om Gajananam Bhutaganadisevitam Kapeta Jambu Palacharvakshitam Namami Viganeshwara Sarvamangalamangale Sharanye Narayani Gurur Brahma Gurur Devo Gurur Sakshat Tasmai Shri Om Namo Bhagavate One last time, everybody. Om Namo Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Last night, I hope you got to see the satsang. But last night we discussed why we, on Makar Sankranti day, why did we scrub our skins with black till. My nephew was questioning. I told him to do what he had to do, and he started to ask me, why do we like deer? Why do we have to scrub our skin with the black till? Why Do we put ghee in the there? All kind of questions. And it made me do a little research, and I found it in Agni Puran last night. Why the value of mustard oil, sesame oil, castor oil, neem oil? Why do you see these things? Why do we use the straight wick preferably over the pulled up wick, the one that is floating in the middle? What is the value of it? What is RT? And what do we do for Sandhya? The different names, the different features of the morning, the middle day, and evening Sandhya. And we had a wonderful discussion about what is Vinayaki, this form that Lord Krishna told that I give you Shrap. You are going to sit on the person's forehead and cause them to make decisions that will bring damage and hamperage to their own life. So he gave examples, and he spoke about if a girl is not married or a boy is not married and people come to offer to get married to them, they will throw away the offer. They will prefer remain alone. He says if the person is married, whether husband or wife, they would not want to be together. Books, Agni Puran says, the wife, the husband would abandon the bedroom of the marriage. So they will go elsewhere, or they would prefer to be celibate. They give up, they cause ruin in their marriage. The student wants to forsake their studies. The books are there. They know what they want to have in this life, and if you just study or work, you will achieve it. But it is as if a blanket of laziness comes over them, and they don't want to do what they have to do. The politician forgets that he went one day to become, he went for election, he went to become the person that will serve the people, to be compassionate for them, etc. And he forgets that too and starts to think of himself. All these different examples of this form, if you ever see it, it is as if it's Ganesh Baba head on a female body, sometimes with 4 hands or 10 hands. And in it, when he started to describe how do you overcome it, he talked about scrubbing the hands and the body over it thoroughly with till, but also mustard seed, saffron. This is what we do for the wedding. When you go to the Hardi and you see they put them in front, the Ganesh baby, and they start to scrub them with this Hardi and different ingredients, and the Ongche with different mudras, with the dograss. Please allow everything for this wedding to go smoothly, and do not allow them to in any way change their mind with cold feet, etc. And there are further reasons, but that is what we spoke about last night. Tonight, everybody, tonight is my mother's birthday, as I said last night. And I'm together with my family because of the camera system. We can't show them, but they are here. You will hear them soon. We are singing and chanting as we celebrate her. This morning, as a son, I woke up, I saw my mother, I bowed his foot, gave her a kiss, and then she got sick in front of me. My mother is the only parent I have, and this morning the blood pressure was reading 62/41, and it was very scary. Tonight, as I sing this discourse, it's so funny we're going to read this discourse. We're going to read from Bhagavad tonight. We're going to read the Katha where Krishna goes for Kalia, that snake. And we'll hear tonight the prayer of the wife of these snakes, of this snake, and his children. Wonderful discourse. And I hope you enjoy it. Let's join together. As one voice, we sing tonight Sumran to Devi and to Bhagavad Puran. Redhi Sedhi Dada Sedhi Sadana Vadana Vadana Sumiro Bharam Tonight we enter into the 10th scan of Bhagavad Puran chapter 15. And in this 15 and 16 chapter we are going to hear about this discourse where Krishna is going to beat and then show mercy to this person called Kalya. Before we do so, this bhajan, I remember Ponizana used to sing this song from New York, Dharmatar of New York. And I grew up loving this song, and Mommy used to like to hear me sing this song. And it matches my discourse tonight, so let's sing together. Chalo Sakhi, come friends, let's go to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is Chali. Mohan is playing Banaya, he's playing his basuri. Let's go. Mohan Bena Vachayuri. Mohan Bena Vachayuri. Chalo Sakhi, Vrindavan Chali. Mohan Bena Vachayuri. That's what it's talking about. Let us go, friends. Krishna is playing his basuri. In that discourse, that is when he's lifting Govardhan's burden. Tonight, as you join our satsang, please share the live. Please leave me your comments, letting me know where you're from. If you're looking on through YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and share it for people to learn. Tonight, we enter where Yashoda and Rohini have two boys that are growing up. And these two boys cause so much trouble. They cause so much problems. But Krishna and his mother have a very, very wonderful relationship. There's a discourse in Bhagavad where Devaki, just to put a comparison, before we listen to this lady's story, please remember Devaki is the one who makes Krishna. On the night of Janmashtami, Devaki is in the jail cell, making and bringing into this world a son. But she does not get to caress her son. She does not get to play with her son. We remember that Vasudeva has to usher him quickly to the house of Nanda Baba. The next time she sees her son, Devaki sees her son with his foot on the chest of the dead body of Kans. And she whispers, according to Bhagavad, she whispers to Vasudeva, could you please tell me which one is mine? And he says, you see the dark one? You see that one who is standing there very valiant on top of the chest of the Mamu? He destroyed him. That is his son. That is the day she saw her teenager boy, Krishna, smiling happily as he destroyed the evil that ruled this world. And she got to hug him and hold the hair of that boy. Keshava means the one with the curly hair. Rich locks. And one day, fast forward now, one day he becomes a man. And Vasudeva, in his elder times, he wants to have Yajna. And he gets in that conversation as his sons come from Dwarka, Balram and Krishna come to look for their father as he has prayers. And Vasudeva remembers the night when he's journeying and the Yamuna river is raising and the Sheshnag is coming. He remembers all the miracles he saw. So he remembers the power of Krishna. And he's happy to see his son. He's happy. And he's drinking in the joy of being together with his boys. And when Krishna goes to look for Devaki in that time, she's very angry with him. She says, oh, how unfortunate a sinner like me. Your entire life you go from place to place and you save people. Nal and Kubara, the two trees in that form where you are Damodara, when the rope is tied around your waist, you go and you save them. Fast forward when you go to the ashram of Sandapani Rishi, your guru, you bring back their dead son. But I am your mother and I never even got to feed you. Your 6 brothers before you, I saw their blood, oh Krishna. So hurtful you treat me. And when, fast forward again in Bhagavad, when Krishna decides to leave this world, Devaki hears that her son is dead. And she says, how unfortunate that this sinful person has to hear the life of their son is gone. That even now, I couldn't hold you, O Krishna. I couldn't see you. And with that grief, this is how Devaki and Vasudeva depart this world. They die after hearing the words that Arjuna comes to tell you this story. That it is said that they were in Prabhas and they heard from the worker of Lord Krishna, the charioteer, that he is no longer here, he's gone. And with that news, Devaki cried because of her sinful soul. Who is the comparative? Who is the opposite to her? Yashoda. Yashoda is the one who has all the worries in this world. Krishna goes to live in her home. And Krishna, when you check what listen, be very practical. Understand the relationship between his mother and the son. He goes outside, Tota comes with her bosom coated in poison, and he goes to drink the poison. A bird goes to snatch him, a bison goes to rip him apart, and he wants to play with the bird, rips the beak off. He wants to play with the bison, throw the bison up in the air. Brahma comes, he takes Leela for 1 year, he shows Brahma he's more powerful. Indra comes when he's 7 years old and he has to lift the Govardhan mountain. And Yashoda Mata is only getting complaint after complaint, everybody's coming. Krishna is so wicked. When I was reading from Valmiki Ramayana, where the history of the Tulsi, the peacock feather comes from, watch how our mother is. Whilst everybody's calling him God, tonight you're going to see it again. Yashoda sees her baby boy, and she puts that peacock feather here. Why? When Indra hid in the peacock in Valmiki Ramayana, it said Ravan wanted to fight. And Indra hides in the peacock, and he says when he comes out for sheltering me, May the eyes, the dark eyes of Lord Vishnu sit on your feather, and let it always be a repelling agent. Look at here. A repelling agent for bad. So this mother porting anyway he goes struggling. Something always coming to kill him. Oh God. Her heart cannot take this type every day, some shock. Remember when she was trying to do her duties and she trying to do the little work, and he is so wicked. Krishna, remember what that word Krishna means? He steals your attention. He steals your soul. He steals you. He takes everything from you. And for this reason, remember when she was tying the rope and she just wants to get a chance to do her duty, so she ties him here, hoping he will stay here. And even then, he drags him out on vessel to go and free Nalan Kubara. Then the poor lady had to tie the dahi, the Makar, high up into the ceiling. And after he had made friends and they had fought, when you listen to Anand Ramayana and he's doing the Yagna to ask forgiveness for causing all the pain to the monkeys in Ram Janam. In Krishna Janam now he says, I will feed you the Makar. There's a discourse where when Hanuman was wounded by Ravan, Sri Ram took the butter and he started to rub all the different cuts. Till today my niece got a cut the other day. She gone in the fridge and take butter and she rubbing it on the cut. This is rooted in our Dharma. Sakya getting killed wrong. Sri Ram took the ghee and he put it on Hanuman, and it brought healing till this day. People in different temples, if you see, this is why they offer Hanumanji that ghee. So in Krishna Janam now he makes a deal. In that Janam you took care of me, in this Janam I will take care of you. And Krishna climbs on the back of all the monkeys. It says in Bhagavad, and he breaks all the lady pot. And he chucks his hand in all the Makar, and he doesn't eat alone, he doesn't mess himself alone, the hair, the clothes. Imagine the lady have to wash the clothes, and look at this chanchal boy. But all the monkeys have to come to eat their food. He has to feed them to their mouth, that one day they were fighting and building bridge for him. And now he's playing with them and rewarding them for this sacrifice. Yashoda comes in and she sees all the melee. Put yourself in that position. For every mother here tonight, put yourself in that position. What would you do? It's time for licks. Have you ever heard that song? Main nahi matan kayu meya mori. Main nahi matan kayu. And with that mama guy, he runs. And she is running behind him, but that is what he wants. He wants this lady's full attention. You must not focus on that fire. You must not focus on doing your chores. Focus on me. That is what that Krishna, when Garg Muni comes to the house of Nand, Garg was the pandit that Vasudev used to use to do his prayer. And he sends him from the jail cell, go in Nanda house and do Nam Sanskar for my sons. And Garg says, because of his ability to charm and to steal the heart and mind of all, we will call him Krishna. Because his hair will be very dark and curly, we will call him Keshava. Because his complexion is dark, we will call him Sham. Because Rama is strong, we will call him Balram or Balram. And like that, the name was indicative. Until today, we do that. Depending on the star, depending on the character of the person, so you will get a name. The other day on the WhatsApp group, I was talking to a fella from, I believe it was British Virgin Islands, I'm not sure where he's from. In my last satsang, I spoke about the name Gosine and what it meant, buried in soul, when we were doing that discourse. And he says, Baba, my name is Jagru. What does that mean? Tell you. What does it mean? And Jagru, after talking about the Rajendra, Jagru is indicative of Jagra, the person who is arguing, the person who is always on the righteous side in the Panchauti style conversation. He's different. He does not want to give up. Balaram is a type like that. He's a Jagra. He always wants to fight. Tonight we enter Yashoda, the first verse here. Yashoda and Rohini are very happy with their children. They are very, very much captivated by the love, by the cuteness, by the power, by the acts and plays that happen. Balaram is always aware of the power of his younger brother. Remember, there's a discourse when they are getting ready to leave. Balaram is going to leave the earth first. And on the bank of Dwarka, on the seaside, on the western shore there, he tells Krishna, in our last janam, I was Lakshman, you were Ram. And I had to listen to you, but in this janam, I am big brother. And you will listen to me. I go to prepare for you. Get ready and follow me now. Because Krishna did not want to go. He didn't want to leave it. But when Balaram leaves, just as in when Ram time, when Lakshman leaves, he has to go. He does not want to live anymore. Tonight let us enter, because my mother heard me and my sister having a conversation about this. And she wants to hear this discourse for her birthday. So I read this for my mother before we sing and so on. Before we close, let's enter into this slok. As Yashoda and Rohini fix their child's hair, they comb them and dress them and prepare them for what? All the fatigue. Parikshit is the grandson of Arjun, and he's the one listening to this Bhagavad. And the guru that is giving the information, Vyas Muni says, the mother knows as I let him go, he's going to dart outside and the trouble start. I know it is going to start. But still the mother with her love, she dresses him to the best. Have you ever seen him without the yellow dhoti tied properly or the peacock feather in his head? That is the love of a mother. Still she does what she has to do. Let's hear what happens. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam. The joy, the blessing of her mother, O Parikshit, she gets to bathe her boys. And what did she do? Last time we talked about the Mala Snan, where they are bathing them in dirt, or they are bathing them in the basma, the ashes. She bathes her boys because there are always problems, troubles, roaming, ready to kill her boys. Every day she is getting some type of complaint. So what does she do? She gives them I use in English, spiritual bath. She's unchained them. She's doing different things. She massages the body with the sesame seed and the mustard seed so things don't follow them. She uses the oil of the coconut plant. She uses the oil of the mustard seed to massage the joints and the body of the child. So long as you use the coconut oil to massage the child, why do you use it? Ganesh Baba is pleased by that oil. So he's the remover of obstacles and problems. And she did the same. After putting the coconut oil in the hair, you know, long time people used to do that. Nowadays, them wives, oh, they smell and stink, don't do that. The reason is, you see it when we have Bandara and we put the oil in the hair. Ganesh Baba is the Devta associated to the coconut oil. Coconut oil. This is why it's so important in the wedding as well. And the mothers, when they are rubbing the child, is imbibing, shielding this child from the effects of spirits, loose spirits, people with bad intention. And you see it for when we have the hardi for the wedding, when they use the mustard oil. Different Devta. Again, Hanumanji, protect me, protect this child, and allow me to get through it with prayers. So the mother rubs the body, bathes the body, and is now preparing this body to be dressed to go and do all the mischief that he has to. She made sure they ate before they would leave home. And the mother is running behind them because they want to dart for the door. and she's pushing in their mouth as much sweet, as much energetic, charged food. Things that they would want to eat, she's trying. After being caressed, after sleeping on their beds, after being fed, that Krishna was ready to move about in Vrindavan. And it is so happened in this instance, in this discourse, it was a day when Balaram left Krishna alone. There was a discourse. Did you ever hear the discourse when Dwarka is about to go into the sea? Krishna gets a shrap at the end of the Mahabharata war. When they go to visit the blind king, the uncle of Arjuna, the aunt, she says, you, O Krishna, could have stopped this war at any time. My 100 sons, Duryodhan and others, could have been saved, and you did not stop the fight. I put a shrap on you. You will live to see the death of your entire family. And when it was time for Krishna to go, leave, long after this, it is the son of Lord Krishna, Samba, who causes the downfall of that same family. And the reason that happened was, everybody became haughty. Everybody thought, well, no, my uncle is the king, so I could do what I want. So to relieve the earth of her troubles, he now had to destroy his own family. Balaram in that last fight, when they are facing their sons and nephews and all this, Balaram with tears in his eyes, he says, I came upon this earth to protect you, oh brother. I protect you, because now all of them, the entire family, is raising arrows and weapons for Krishna. They are coming for him. And Balaram says, my purpose in this life is to ensure your safety. Since we were children, I protected you. But this day, Balaram took a break from his job. And Krishna does not rest. He goes and he's calling all the friends. He's running through the village. See it in your mind. It is time for us to play, oh friends. What are you still doing in your home? And they run to the fields where all their cattle and all the cows are. And they play amongst themselves. And trouble is looming. But these unsuspected children don't see it. Let's hear what happens. Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Vallabham Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Vallabham Janaki Nayakam Ramachandra Vade Janaki Nayakam Ramachandra Vade Krikshaye Tanave Tataye Hota Krishna Yo Yogi Kalyayetam Snanaparyeta Yamuna Nadi Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari Sangate Pratiyati Samrajalanidhi Kalayayetam Rakshanayeta Paraye Param Rakshanayeta Parame Param Achyutam Keshavam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari Sridharam Madhavam Vasudevam Hari Sridharam Madhavam Vasudevam Hari Sridharam Madhavam. The sun was very hot, and all the children were running in the fields, helter-skelter as the cow grazed close to the bank of the Yagna in a particular corner, a particular depth pool, a deep pool was there in this part. And the cows started to drink. And then in this part, the children ran to this different point and they started to drink, not knowing that the water was polluted with poison. Despite all this, nothing stopped them, no thought, no deuta, nobody. And drinking, all of them fell down dead, one after the other, on the bank of this stream, on the bank of this river, sorry. Finding this, one by one, they were all reduced, lying lifeless on the bank. Krishna comes close to them and he slaps them and he says, "Get up, get up." And by his grace, all of them woke up, realizing that they were restored by his blessing. Realizing that there's something in that water. Krishna now thought it was time to deal with Kaliya. The waters deep in the depths of that section of Yagna, there lived a very big black serpent called Kaliya. Parikshit, Lord Krishna wanted to purify that section, that river, from the poison that he was giving off, that was being emitted by his body. Parikshit now says, "Guruji, may you please tell me, kindly tell me how Lord Krishna got hold and subdued that very great and powerful serpent. And how is it that that serpent came there to live in the first place?" Let's join together as Krishna is going to do his work, his deeds. And just by listening to this discourse, you will hear in a little bit the blessing that is possible. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. was the incarnation for the purpose of subjugation of the wicked. Consider how powerful this snake is and how much damage the venom of this snake could do if it is allowed to remain in the waters of the Yagna. And what did he do? He climbed on the branches of a kadamba tree that was growing close to the Yagna. And he jumped from on top of that tree into the water as if to challenge Kalia that was living in the depths. He started to beat the water. He started to splash up in the water as if it was a huge elephant, calling and challenging in this way this snake to come. And hearing this thunderous sound, this water agitated now by the strokes of this little boy, but it seemed as if it is too powerful for him. The serpent came rushing, O Rajan, rushing towards this king, trying to bite him in all his tender and soft points, twisting him, bending him, and trying to squeeze him as he rose up into the air, wrapping him with the coils of his very muscular body, thinking to himself very quickly, I'm going to destroy this little boy. And Krishna allowed his body to be wrapped by the arms, his strands, because it was multi-headed, it was a very big serpent. And he allowed for that to happen. He allowed for him to be in this way squeezed right around. And then, still smiling, under his foot has the imprint of a lotus flower, sportingly. In this way, the coils, he starts to wiggle and come out of the grind, the hole, the grasp of the snake. Let's hear what happens as Krishna now is ready to fight back. As the size of this serpent is showing above the Yamuna, Krishna had dragged him out, trying to hold on to him. Let's hear what happens. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shakti Rupe Shakti Rupena Samskrita Namastasye 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 and he's jumping and wringing the different heads. He's pushing the head under his arms, and Kalia is thinking, how is it this little child is so powerful? He takes the foot, and when he hits the snake, the stamp under the foot of Krishna leaves an imprint on the head of Kalia. The snake becomes mad, he becomes furious, and he comes at the child again. All the devtas, all the ladies in heaven, all the Gandharvas, their heart goes out looking at Mahavishnu in this form of a little boy. It is a baby. Their heart is breaking. They wish they could come to help him. But Balaram is smiling over it. Balaram knows the strength of his brother, and he's giving them signal, hold, don't go and intervene. Let him do his job. Kalia is about to receive his Vardhan, his blessing. Let them fight. Let's hear what Krishna is waiting to do for him. Come on, everybody! Yeah. fighting. The master is playing with his prey. The snake feels he's the one who is the predator. And oh boy, I got something luscious things today. Balaram is watching his brother and he's laughing. But who is the person who gets the signal? Oh, Parikshit, in the case of man, the left side of the body starts to throb. It starts to beat. There is trouble coming. But in the heart and the body of a woman, the right hand side gives the signal something is wrong. And the right hand side of your shoulder, while she's tending to her work, the heart of this mother starts to beat. She starts to tremble and she tells Nanda Baba, trouble is coming. Something is wrong. Our boy is in trouble. Let us go and find him. Forthwith, the earth started to get frightened. Dirty Mata feels the strain. When Krishna is suspended in the air, Kalya has a problem because the weight of that Kamana is coming down on him. And Mother Earth is feeling the weight of this little boy. Let's hear what happened. When Radhika Devi wants to get married to Krishna in Bhagavad, Brahma does the wedding and she takes Krishna in Bal form, baby form, and she goes to get married. And she allows Nanda to see the entire Leela. She is the one who speaks to Nanda Baba and tells him everything about the power of Krishna. And when it was time for Krishna to leave the earth, does Nanda have to cry? No. Krishna comes and he says, Radha, Gopis, Yashoda, Rohini, I am going to leave this earth. Let me take you to Golok before you see me die. You are not going to see that cave. Go back to Golok and wait for me there. Nanda is always the person who has the vision. And Nanda is looking for his son. Everybody's hunting. All the people in the village are going helter-skelter. Yashoda Mata is getting signal. Her boys are in trouble. And Balaram is careless. Balaram is laughing. Oh, look over the hill. Look under the brush. Come down, you'll find him. Keep looking and he's laughing, knowing what his brother is doing. That Kalya had prayed in previous birth to have that Vardhan, to have that darshan of Krishna. And now Krishna is rewarding him. Why would you rob him? Why would you rob him, oh father? Don't you think that little boy is not capable? Let's hear what happened. When Nanda Baba, who finds Krishna, the devotee called Nanda. In this world, when a person is lost and you are looking for the Lord, you must have the devotion to see Him in all the animals, in all the troubles that is around you. But Nanda, when all the different gopis was hunted, Nanda has the vision and he sees where he does not expect to see his son over the water of the Yagna. He sees his son dancing on Kalya. Without any fear, without any worries, his son is laughing and he's holding a little ball in his hand. The boys were playing catch and the ball went in the water and he went back to get the ball. And Nanda is watching his boys play and he sends signal, all of them are coming. Let's hear what happened. And just as when he was lifting the mountain, Govardhan, and the little finger is holding, Nanda wants to go and hold with the stick. And he says, son, let me help you. And Nanda says, Krishna says to Nanda, you feel you can hold it? You feel you can help me? And he pulls back the finger just a little bit, and all his sticks, look at your finger as you see it, all his sticks started to break. Nanda knows the power of the sun, but again the heart of this parent is tested. He rushes and he wants to go into the water. See it in your mind. He wants to go and save his son. This big black serpent, so many heads, so many fangs. The spray of the venom is touching his child. He doesn't see the Lord now. Now he sees the son. Let's see what happens in this look. Come on, everybody. See the Lord dancing on all the enemy, all his trouble, all his sickness. Becoming very ignorant to that omnipotent Krishna and the nature of that Lord. Seeing the omens of death. The omens of death, all those villagers, all the Pravasi, all the people, Vrindavan, all these gopis that were born on the earth to see the power of the Lord. Now they see him as a little child playing. And danger is around him. And they are seeing the signs of death, but they don't know it's Kalia who's about to die. They still, Krishna is in trouble. Krishna is in trouble. He says here, the young, the old, the men, the women, every vocation, everybody rushed to the water to go to help him. And Balaram stood there with the plow. He spread his arms and he said, no, let him do his work. Leave him. He will handle it. I have faith in him. Yasmuni has Parikshit by his throat. He wants to know what's coming next. He says, look at the devotee. He has that faith. Let the Lord deal with the enemy. Let the Lord deal with the trouble. Whatever the predicament in this life, whatever the snake in your life is, leave it to the Lord. Could you go and help him? Could you deal with it by your merit? Could you lift a hand against the Kalia in your life? For all the people in their homes running from COVID, could you fight that disease? But Balaram is holding on with faith and he says, let him do his work. Let's hear what happens. They were looking for that little foot. Padma Devanam is the devotee who looks for the foot of the Lord. I worship the feet of the Lord. I dream, I look for his footprints. So blessed is Nanda that he followed the footprint and he followed the road that Krishna was giving him. And he finds the Lord and he gets the darshan to see the Lord dancing. Not fighting, not sweating, not bawling, not crying to him. But he sees the Lord dancing in all his bala around the age of 6. And he has that vision. Padma Sevanam, Darshanam, he sees it and he's in awe. Everybody is standing there and they cannot comprehend what is happening. How could this little child fight this serpent with all the coils of this black snake shimmering in the sun as if it was diamonds, squeezing the child and the child turns and he comes out of the hole. And now it is time for him to put the footprint of the Lord is about to be applied for his devotee. Who is the devotee? Kalia. Kalia came there, but he didn't know that he would have intercepted the Lord. Let's hear what happened. Yagna Krishna is playing his role. What does he want? He wants all the family, all the friends of Gokul must come to him. Everybody must follow his footprints and they must find him. Take the road when you hear yoga, Kriya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Sangha Yoga, all these different yoga means the walkway, the path, the trail, that his little foot is leading you to find him. And he says, my devotee 1 in a million will come to me. Let them follow the road that takes them. Everybody in Gokul reach. And Krishna is fighting Kalya. But he's waiting to see Yashoda. He's waiting to see Yashoda. And when she reached, he started to beat her chest. She said, what a sinner am I? You gave me this bosom to feed my children. Today look what my children are drinking. That I cannot help them. And she starts to beat herself, holding her body. She grumps to the ground and she cries for him. And she calls him, you come back here, little boy. Leave that demon, leave that enemy, and you come to your mother. Listening to the cry of the mother, realizing that now all of them from Gokul is depending on him. They want him, they are crying on him, they are calling him, they need him. Now it is time for him to play. He says, I will play for 1 Mahurat. I will play for 48 minutes on your head. I will play with you, O Kalya, for that period of time. So give you what you want. But now my mother wants me. I have to go to my mother. Let's hear what happens. Do you remember the discourse of the Pujas and Garud? I read that for you. Garud, mother, is trapped as a slave. Garud, who is the chariot of Lord Vishnu. His cousins, his Mausi's children, are all his servants. And they tell him, you know the Amrit that they chill in the ocean against Lakshmi Mata? That Amrit is hidden in the vault of Lord Vishnu. Go steal that and you bring that here for us, and we will give you back your mother. And in the millet, take it back from the snakes. Just a drop shook, and they licked the grass. It fell on the bush grass, and the bush grass is always growing, spreading. They can take wherever you put it, it will take that piece of land. And the snake's tongue cut on the bush grass, and the Amrit made the tongue that no matter what animal could go extinct in this world. Have you ever seen, maybe cold places don't have snakes, but there is never a deficiency of snakes. Please listen to another reason why. When Krishna saw his mother in need of him, and this devotee is calling on him, she closed her eyes and she was crying, "Oh Kanha, oh baby, come to your mother now. Come, baby, I want to feed you. Come to me now. Come, leave that animal. Do not play with that dangerous animal. Come to me now. And the mother is calling on him. It was time to beat Kalia. And when he started to dance on his head and he started to hit, the immortal tongue that I just mentioned, the snake, started to become lifeless with the lashing of the Lord. Dropped now out of the side of the different heads that Kalia had. The tongue was dead. Kalia was powerless. His hoods could no longer lift because it was as if he was broken. The muscles of this snake was damaged and it could no longer raise its head or hiss or to throw poison at anything. And Krishna stood on that head. Nanda Baba is watching. All the Gandharvas, the Siddhas, Kanaras, they are playing musical instrument to give Krishna the music to dance as he is dancing on the body of this demon. Every hood as it raised up, he would jump on that hood, kicking. And every time he came down on another hood, he made sure it was more powerful than the hood he hit before. The nostrils, the mouth was vomiting blood from the serpent. And it became clear that it was about to die. And during this course of the dance, becoming more and more weak, Lord Vishnu, who is on the body of the coiled body of Sheshnag, was ready to defeat him, to take the life from him. And who comes to beg? Who comes to pray? But the various wives of this snake come to ask for forgiveness. They come to plead with Krishna. Let's hear what happens. As we do this stroke, the wives come holding their young, all the egg, all the ones that are now hatched, they come before the Lord and they beg him. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharna. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Jai! Holding their children and coming between husband whose body is limbering. He is giving up. The heads can barely lift in the fight. And the little boy is waiting to hear what they have to say, and he's still squeezing and wringing the body of this serpent. And these ladies beg, O Prabhu, in your incarnation, you have come to remove the earth of wicked. Sinful is the serpent, because we are ruled by the tamasic gun. Whenever somebody comes close to a person that is ruled by tamas, they immediately start to spit venom. They start to attack. They start to go on the attack. and they cannot say something good, they cannot do something good. He says, likewise, this is what a serpent is. When anything or anybody is ruled by this guna or Kanha or Krishna or Vishnu or Gajendranath, the Lord of the elephant, this is what we will do. And when you came into the water, when the boys came to the water, Kalia being ruled by that gun, he could not overcome his innate nature, his innate resolve to bring poison, to damage, to harm. And today, dear Prabhu, you are in a different way. You are in a hidden way, in a disguised way. You are conferring great amount of blessing upon him by stamping your mark on his body. Prabhu so blesses Kalia that he today is being washed clean of all the sin. He is taking what we call Vidhi Snan yesterday. He is being washed by the name, the power, the water that is touched by the Lord. Just as in the prayers how we sprinkle, now this water, he's dancing in the water. And Kalia is in that water. Oh, Prabhu, he is so blessed. We simply cannot understand your roles. The dust from your feet, others are rushing for it. Others take that dust and pass it on their body and they get purified. He is being danced with this dust and he is being saved. But dear Prabhu, Namastute Bhaga Bhagavate Purusha Maha Atmane Bhuta Vatsala Bhutaye Paramatma Paramatmaye Nama. You who are the sky, the earth, and all these other things, they start to pray. They start to call on him. Kala ye kala nabhya kala vastita sansitam Vishwanata dhara brashta tatakriya kripanataya namo nama. You are the one who beat Kalia. You are the one who beat time. You are the master of everything. Oh Lord of mercy, we pray to you on behalf of these children. Please spare him. Please forgive him. So, this is what is referred to as the prayer of the wife. When women are praying for the mistakes of their husband and they need mercy, one of the names of Lord Krishna devotees is Kripa Nath or Kripa Raj. Kripa means mercy. He is the Lord or the King of that. When people need help for their husband, in particular husband, the wife, they chant this stotra that these snakes chanted here. When the child makes the first offense, that child deserves to be condoned and tolerated. If a person is too harsh on a young child, you will call that person crazy. Be pleased with this stupid creature who did not recognize your divine nature, Prabhu. Look at him as a child and give him forgiveness, give him tolerance. Because of your grace, he is close to the point of death. But we as women should be pitied. We have to tolerate the form of the husband. We have to follow in his footsteps. If he takes an unrighteous path, we will go on the unrighteous road. And if we go on a righteous path, so we will follow. As his wife, we have followed in his lifestyle. As the wife of a serpent, we have followed in his strength and weaknesses. May you please, lover of all, father of all, please with their hands folded like this, please forgive him. Kalia regains sense and he comes to speak to the Lord. Now, dominated are we by this tamogun. Dominated are we by the feet of that Lord Vishnu. And today I am excised of the spirit that was holding me, blinded me from this universe to see who you really are, oh dear Lord. Creator and maker of all, please, we came here, we hid here, hiding from Garud. When Garud was hunting all these snakes, we hid in this place hurriedly to safeguard our family. Krishna, May you please forgive us. Everybody, those of you at home, please clasp your hands. Ye ita sansarare satya sobhaya madhusudanam ye kripa kalya ye yamuna ye kam. Whenever a mortal will remember my acts, O Kalya, by my command today, the person who remembers this discourse, whether in the Sandhya in the morning, the Sandhya at lunchtime, the Sandhya at evening time, they will never have fear of serpent. They will never have fear of the living, breathing snakes that will bite, and then the people who are like serpents, who are filled with poison, but the diamonds on their skin look beautiful. When a person wishes to rid themselves, oh Kalya, your role is coming to be now. When a person wishes to rid themselves of this type of snake in their life, reflect on the salvation of you, and they will get that blessing. Reflect on the salvation of Kalya, this discourse, and you will get it. Whosoever after taking a bath in water, wherever there is going to be play, wherever there is going to be sport, wherever there is going to be puja, wherever there is going to be tarpan, the person who offers tarpan after listening to this discourse, doing fasting, worshipping Krishna, after listening to this discourse, they are absolved of all sins. Girded with his beautiful wings, that which is fearful for snakes. O Kalya, today you bear the stamp of Krishna. Today the stamp of my body, my foot, my body is on your head. That person who wears the mark of Krishna upon their body, no harm, no destruction will come to you. Let's hear what he says as Guruji is speaking now in this next sloka, as we are about to close in a little bit. Pahi 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 Kalya, save me Lord, save me Prabhu. If you spare me now so I can see my children live, dear God. I am so grateful for the person who is sickly, for the person who is ailing. This is the type of prayer when you think you are the monster in your life, when you think you have all the ability and you are so strong and you can roar. One day that God will dance on your head and break that pride and break that ego and bring you down like this snake now. He now wants to speak to Krishna as he realizes the power of this little boy. Pahi 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 pahi. Where Parvati Nanda is the song saying, who is Parvati Nanda? Who is Ganesh? In Ganapati Khan of Brahma Puran, she calls on Krishna and she says, I want a son, I can't have a son. Because she committed suicide in the form of Sati, even she had to pay for that. So Parvati Mata never gets the opportunity to see the belly swell. She does Putra Yagna, and Krishna says, you will have your child. And in the night when the puja was done in the day, and she fed everybody and she gave everybody what she had to give them. In the night, Krishna comes as an old, tattered Pandit, Brahman, with torn clothes, very withered body, very maga body, and he's knocking on the door. And he says, Shiva, Mother Parvati, I am very hungry. I have done puja praying to you, and I am depending on you now for food. Help me if you don't save me now. I am going to die. Parvati Mata says, no. Come and eat, I have prayers. Come, it is my honor to feed you. And she's going into the room, she put him in the middle of the floor. And the hall, let's imagine, in the middle of the floor, and she went into the kitchen and she's coming back with food. And she put in bowl. Have you ever gone to a Christian temple and seen a feast? How they put many takari around him? This is where that started. Krishna is sitting and Parvati Mata, now he's in disguise, eh? Krishna and Parvati Mata is putting. And he says, oh Ma, and mother is the lady who feeds you. There are different mothers in this world. And when that lady has the darshan to feed you to your mouth, that becomes a mother. Regardless to her age, regardless to her frame, regardless to her health, her race, her religion, that is a mother. And Parvati Mata says, yes, I accept that role, oh Muni, I am your mother. When she continued bringing the food now, Parvati, the Muni says to Parvati, but when you bring all this food, when you bring all this sakari, my belly from this maga form, from this withered form, I'm going to become very big, I'm going to become very fat. What will happen now, mother? And Parvati Mata shook her head through that door and she said to him, oh Muni, if you must become fat, if you must become Lambodhara, because of the love of this mother, well then God bless you with this mother's love. Become big, become huge, and you have the blessing of your mother. Krishna took that and he disappeared. Devotees tonight, remember, from that mother's love, this is why Ganesh Baba, all the devotees, all our gods, and this as if they go to the gym. I said it the other day, I'm saying it again. But Ganesh Baba had the love of his mother, and Krishna took it. Listen to the words of this bhajan and call on him. Lambodhara he, Lambodhara he, Lambodhara he, Gajanana. Lambodhara Gajavitarana. He said, you must leave this water. Go, take your family and go from here. I spare you. Garud will spare you because of my protection. But never come back here. Never harm the people of Braj. Never harm the person who bathes in Yagna. Never harm the person who listens to this discourse. Go from here now. And when he comes off Kalya, all the friends, Balaram is smiling. Balaram plays with him. Balaram touches him. Nanda is so happy. Nanda is celebrating, but Yashoda is shaken. Yashoda is trembling to see him coming. And what does she do? She takes the chandan from her body and she puts it on his body. She is still trying to protect him. Let's hear what happened. Parikshit, listen good. This is your blessing. Listen. Yashoda could not even open her eye to see that what was the imminent death of that child. She closed her eye and she was crying and she was calling on him, she was talking to him, and her mind was fixated on him. And that little boy came through that crowd and he passed everybody and he touched everybody and he made his way. Now his mother is on her knees. Tears are running from her body. Her heart is racing. Oh, Parikshit. And when she opened her eyes and she saw the little boy in front of her, it was as if her breath returned to her body. Oh, Parikshit, blessed is the person that listens to this journey of Yashoda. Krishna with no doubt could destroy any enemy, but the heart of Yashoda is dragged in this fight. She is taught a lesson. She is given the blessing. Who is really receiving the blessing here is not Kalia, you know, but Yashoda, because she gets to see it. She gets to learn the lesson that when you think you are happy, when you think you have everything in this life, that God will take you on a spiritual journey and carry you where He wants to take you. It is left to you to see Him like Nanda or not. It is left to you to hold in sight of death, doom and difficulty, to hold to His ability. Close your eyes and hold strong in your devotion. This is who Yashoda is. And he comes and she starts to fix Kajar. She takes from her body and she starts to decorate the murti in front of her. That little boy was God. It was her life, it was everything. And whatever she had on her body, she pulled up the dupatta and she started to dry him and dress him and fix him hurriedly. Blessed is the person who hears of the liberation of Kalia, that they get the darshan as if they had waded in the waters of Yamuna, simply by Shravanam, by that type of bhakti where you listen to the word of God. By tonight listening to this discourse, you get the darshan as if you are Kalia yourself. You are Yashoda yourself. When troubles, when snipans raise up in your life, know that God will dance on that trouble without much effort, mash it up and bring it down and come back to you. But it's only if you have that devotion and that faith, that dependence on Him. Vindravan Bihari Lalaki Jai. Time has really run away. Tonight, I wanted to conclude these 3 nights that we've done after talking so much about the different rites, rituals of Sandhya, and so happened it coincided with Mami's birthday. My mother is the reason I am who I am, the force and the faith, the belief I have in Krishna, the love I have faith. I remember when we were small, good days, bad days, everybody has those. Mami was the one who would sit with us in the prayer room and sing. And today, by the grace of God, I have my mother to sing for her. And this is what we've been doing this evening. Of course, we cut the cake and we eat food together as a family and all that. But today, I thank my God for my mother. In my home, I still have the picture where when I was tying my zanil, she feeds me to my mouth, and in the picture we caught it in that moment. Till this day, I swear to everybody watching, the one thing I ask my mother for is food. My worry is the day my mother is no longer with me, who will cook like that? Who will give me food? Who will feed me? Then I will have a trouble. Today I got to sit down, my mother every year, with a we have to make pigeon peas. When I tell you I hate pigeon peas, because every year when pigeon peas was in season, this lady used to do it to me with pigeon peas. But that is my tradition. And I sat down with her this morning and I fight and make sure her blood pressure come back up. And you know, I'm just glad I have my mother tonight to sing for she and to pray with she and thank God that together this evening is one family here. That's the family. The girls and the children and the family. The husband, both my brother-in-laws here. And I wanted to share this night with all you. For all to get the opportunity to sing and read a nice discourse. When I was small, she used to listen to this cassette. My mother had this cassette. With Pandit Balaram Prasad of the Swaha organization. Pandit Balaram in those days, he would sing Sunameri daily with the figure till this day. And I love this song because of that man, God bless him, by his Babaji. And when I was small, I used to sing this for she because, you know, it had this song, Lady in Red. I used to sing that for she because she was my lady in red. Is dancing with me. That was my mother. That was the song I used to sing for my mother tonight. As I want my sisters to do her maybe I do my arti after. I want to close because it's 9 o'clock. It's after 9. I invite you to listen. I invite you to join with me again in Sankranti. February is coming. We're going to do live. I'm going to do it again. For those of you, again, I'm joining. This is my baby sister. Everybody, and tonight today here with your children arti book first, and then you win an arti. Yeah, a question here. Tonight, as we conclude, Krishna Krishna Mahayogin Bhaktanama Bhayam Karam Govinda Paramanandana Sarvam Yeva Shamanaya Gita Ganga Jadayatri Sita Satya Saraswati Brahma Vidya Brahma Valli Shri Sandhya Muktagehini Artmata Jirananda Bhav Agni Bhainashri Vedatkai Parananda Taswarta Gyan Manjani Vasudev Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum Vrindavan Devyaraki. So I've kept to the standard. I've read Gita. We'll do more another day. But for tonight, allow me to sing my Bhagavad Arti and a song from my mother. Jai Jai Bhagavat Bhagavan ki hai aarti papiyon ko paap se hटाती. सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वतवासी तेरा पार न पाया, तेरा पार न पाया। सुनो मेरी देवी पर्वतवासी तेरा पार न पाया, तेरा पार न पाया। सुपारी ध्वजा नारियल Taken from that south part of India in Mysore, where it happened Sankranti. Mother is resting on that Vasini, that hill, and she was blowing after that war. And Brahma comes to her, Mother, I give you worship, Mother, can't come Shanti. Mother, may you accept our prayer. Tonight, as I conclude these 2 nights, as I conclude tonight's discourse, this wonderful Kaliya discourse, I hope you remember it, I hope you learn from it. For those people that have their mothers, please remember. Live good by the example. And for the parents that sometimes you have a chul child and is given a little chul, in everything, have I reason, have I blessing. May God bless your home. Tonight I want to just sit around with Pandit Rishi Oja and the Auntie Nisha Oja. May Lord Krishna bless your home and bless your family. Tonight I want to wish Trisha, Basad of Canada and all those that are looking on from those different places where they are under restriction. May God remove the serpents, the sickness, the demons from your life. And may you have the faith to hold everybody. May you hold your faith in these testing times with sickness rampant and right around you. Please, don't give up. But hold faith like Yeshua. When you see scary things coming and you get afraid, hold to your faith and know that He will come and save you. He will protect you. You just have to do the right things. And we've been discussing that for the last 2 days. And I invite you, if you are looking at this on the replay, look for the other 2 nights just before, yesterday and the night before. And you will gain a lot of knowledge. Tonight as we join together in final pratna, please join your hands wherever you are. In your homes, looking at on your phones and your laptops and so on. May you say final prayer with me. Tvameva Mata Tvameva Bandhuscha Tvameva Vidya Tvameva Sarvam Tvameva Sarvam. Together. Om Shanti Shanti Hari Prem Solo Mahapati Mahadeva ki jai, Pavana Putra Hanuman ki jai, Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki jai, Vrindavan Vihari Lal ki jai, Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai. Jai Jai Sitaram. Sitaram, everybody from home here, from my entire family. I hope you enjoyed these last 3 nights. May God bless you, and until we can do it again, may God protect you and protect your family. Sitaram.